I hope that they'll get that there is life after divorce and that there's actually a big, beautiful, wonderful life after divorce.
With 27-year-olds who want you to dominate them.
Yeah. I mean, the sex especially was like a whole new world, you know, like I felt like a Disney princess, you know, so there is life after divorce. You can function, you can flourish, you can grow, and you can heal.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, I'm MJ.
And I'm Bree.
Welcome to Keeping It Casual,
A sex-positive dating and relationship advice podcast.
Yes, I'm married with 2 kids.
And I'm navigating this crazy dating world.
We're just here to share our drama.
And the wild stories of our listeners.
Your Vegas girls are here for you.
Let's do it.
So, MJ, guess what?
What?
I pulled an intention card this week that said, there is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. And I truly, truly, truly believe that our guest this week lives her authentic truth every single day.
Oh, I know. I can't wait. I'm like one of her biggest Twitter fans as well. And we can't wait for you guys to meet her. But first, mega shout out to our partners Like a Kitten, who have an extra limited edition couples box out right now called the Naughty or Nice box. And it's all about foreplay.
We have a super fun unboxing video, which is way more extra than any unboxing video
Always.
you have ever seen. But all of our unboxing videos are.
Uh-huh.
Check out our Instagram TV to see what's inside, and we've got you 25% off this sexy box with the code KEEPERS25 at likeakitten.com.
That's right, which is now actually extended past Black Friday weekend to December 4th because you guys sold out the first round because you guys are some sexy, horny bitches.
I love our sexy bitches. And then we need to give a big congrats to this month's winner who scored a sexy Like a Kitten box. Thanks for the rating review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to win something, you can just rate and review on Apple Podcasts as well.
That's right.
So thank you, Vegas Lynn, for the 5 stars. Hilarious. I laughed so hard and wished I could call in like a radio show to join in. The girls reminded me of the friends I have. I found a new show to get me through my cleaning frenzies.
Holla.
Thanks for making time fly.
Oh, girl. So make sure you send us an email. We will get you your box, and it's feedback at keepingitcasualpodcast.com, and we'll tell you more how you can win later.
This week we welcome host of There Are No Nice Guys. She has one of the sexiest voices in podcasting. Laura is also a fashionista and social media expert, and just so you know, our first divorcee. I was actually on her podcast as her millennial social media dating expert, and she got me to talk about all things ass eating.
That
y'all.
was crazy.
Thank you so much, and let's welcome Laura
Coronado.
You guys, they totally give me goosebumps. like that cheering. And seriously, my nipples are hard right now.
I was going to say, are the nipples hard? That's what I want to hear.
You're cheering, like totally hardened my nipples. That intro was just so sweet and kind. Thank you so much.
Do we miss anything else?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm all good here.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
So your podcast is called There Are No Nice Guys. Can you give us a little background on what your podcast is about and why you chose that name?
Well, the name is meant to be provocative, of course. And you just wouldn't believe how many guys get going on that. Like, what do you mean there are no guys? I'm a nice guy. Yeah.
Of
so
course
that,
you are.
Yeah. I mean, so that's funny. But really, it speaks to the trope. You know, the idea of the nice guy, just like the perfect woman, or the Prince Charming, or the perfect housewife. Like, we just need to get rid of all of these tropes and categories. I think it kind of screws everything up when you're dating. So that's really the meaning behind There Are No Nice Guys. It's like there's just men. They're all individuals. They're all men. Just like there's just women, and we're all individuals.
Yeah.
So that's really the point of the title. But of course, I'm trying to be provocative and poke a little bit of some ribbing there. But the reason I started is because basically people asked me to. I was actually working on a book, same title, There Are No Nice Guys, which I'm still working on. It's one of those things I'm sure it's going to take me a while to finish it.
That's
and
awesome.
then in my talks with people, because I was interviewing like other single women, so as they're sharing their stories and I'm sharing mine, and then I'm taking their stories and telling my married friends about them, everyone was saying, you really need to have a podcast, and that's really why I kicked it off.
That's
I love
true.
it.
I love it. So we actually haven't had a guest take the BDSM quiz in a very long time.
No, when she told me that she asked you, she goes, I'm going to ask Laura to take the BDSM quiz. I was like, fuck yeah, I bet she'd do it too.
Because basically what was happening is our guests were getting nervous. We were like, take this quiz. Because like one of our most downloaded episodes is where we took this quiz, and it's called Sex Talk with a Brat and a Switch. And I'm a brat and she's a switch.
Yep.
So that's one of our most downloaded episodes. And we realized that people really cared about the BDSM quiz results. We were like, all of our guests are going to take it. And then like most of our guests were like, no, I don't want to share these.
Aww.
And because the conversations you and I have had, and you were like, I'll talk about anything. I don't care. I was like, she's going to do it.
We work them all into it usually in a podcast, and we were like, can you just come on and tell us about all your kinks? They're like, well, I just, I need a little bit first.
So do you care to share your BDSM quiz results? You don't have to go all of them, but give us your top.
I'll give you your top, and I would love your feedback on this is really what I want.
Okay.
Okay. Because I got 100% brat.
Brats unite!
You and Bree.
But I also got 100% brat tamer.
Oh, so you're a total
Interesting.
switch then, if you're a brat
then
and a brat
and
tamer.
that was followed up by 100% switch, 100% rigger, and 100% rope bunny.
So
I got some rope bunny in me.
rigger means you like to tie up, and rope bunny means you like to be tied up.
Yeah.
She's an equal opportunist. Can you hold on
Yeah.
just 1 second? Because her
giant
puppy is... Violet! Get over here!
Violet is they have a Great Dane, and she's like, is Violet 8 weeks or 6 weeks?
15 weeks.
Oh, 15 weeks. Okay. I'm way behind. Okay, so as
please.
you are totally a switch. You are what did Chris say? I am 100% that switch.
As Lizzo said. 100% that's it. Yeah, because I remember getting rope bunny, but I also got like rigger, and I remember Chris getting that. So it's a lot of that dominating.
A lot of people who are riggers, they like to tie up their partner, but really what they get off on is the actual art of tying them up.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
As a brat, you're a naughty submissive. You like to be submissive, but you also like to be like, no, make me so you get punished. By that giggle, she's like, that is very true.
Which one were you most surprised by, Laura?
I honestly just wasn't surprised at all. This has always been my thing, where I can switch between both. I can be, either submissive to the right guy. I actually get really pissed off when the wrong guy tries to make me his submissive. Like he thinks he's dom. I'm like, you're 22 years old and you probably make about 30 grand a year. Like, no, sweetie. No.
That's funny.
No, you can't. I'm 50. You can't fucking dom me when you're like fucking 22 years old.
That is hilarious. I think it's like when you're a switch, you're almost like you want to be dominant first. Like you're like, I will make the rules. I'll let you know if I want to be dominant or submissive. It's extremely bossy, and I respect it so much. So you used to sell sex toys because you and Bree used to do sex parties, and you used to sell sex toys?
I used to work for the corporate company that Bree was selling the sex toys for. I was doing what I do now. I was doing marketing. I was doing communications. I led the content team. So we managed the blogging. We managed social media. And then basically all those catalogs. Like if you're a consumer and you go to one of these parties, there's a pretty little catalog with all the product descriptions. I was the one writing all of that.
Oh.
I used to love, so there was a catalog. Were you still working there when 50 Shades came out?
Yes. Actually, I was totally part of that whole team and that whole creative kickoff.
That catalog was beautiful. The kinky catalog that came out. Fun story, and Laura can back this up. And I talked about this on one of our unboxing videos actually, when 50 Shades of Grey came out, Benoit balls sold out completely.
Yeah.
Just worldwide because of that scene in 50 Shades of Grey. There was a bunch on back order, and I remember seeing it on back order, and I was like, why the fuck are these on back order? I've got shit to sell. I've got clients that need this. 50 Shades inspired a lot of people to buy stuff from me, so I was fine with that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. There was so much money to be had in that little niche of sex toys, and people thought that it was like real BDSM stuff, and it's like, no, this is actually the vanilla shit.
It was.
I feel like Laura is insane at like dirty talk and erotica.
Oh my God.
And like sexting.
So I have this common thing that happens in my life, and that is basically every guy I sleep with has a talk with me afterwards where he very sincerely asks me if I'm a porn actress.
Are you loud? Because I'm totally loud.
I'm very loud because I am a Libra like you, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm totally loud. I'm very talkative in it. And even my ex-husband used to say to me, fucking you is like fucking a porn star. He'd never fucked a porn star, but I think it was like what he imagined it would be like.
Yes.
But I wouldn't know because I've never watched porn.
What?
I'm kidding.
She's lying. Laura told me priest porn exists.
Oh, God. Wait, police porn?
Priest porn.
Oh, priest porn.
Because I sent out a tweet that said, I don't like when movies cast hot men as priests. It makes me very sexually confused. And she was like, girl, priest porn exists. And I was like, what?
That's hilarious. That's like
It is a thing.
That was like a whole Samantha Jones thing. So before we get into this really fun getting to know you game, which is a mix of like personal questions, relationships, sex, and also some listener questions, because being that you are our first guest that has gone through divorce and you are just a fucking light of inspiration and boss babeness to anybody out there that is kind of struggling with that, we have some questions to throw in there. Can you share with us how long you have been divorced and how long have you been living this new life?
The single babe
Second
life.
act, babe.
I've been single for 5 years now, and it'll be 6 years in 2021. You count these years because it's like you can come so far in 5 years that it's there's a part of me that's like, I can't believe it's only been 5 years that I've been divorced. That's where I'm at now in the healing process.
Yeah.
And two, I'm also at the point where it's like, why the fuck didn't I do this earlier?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm at that point now. And I think it's important to note, because I think a lot of women, and I saw this on Twitter just recently, where a woman's like, when do you start healing from the divorce? When does the pain go away? And it does eventually. And you eventually hit points where you're like, holy shit, I should have done this a long time ago. Holy shit, I should have left his ass a long time ago.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to be married to him anymore. And you just find this whole sense of freedom and happiness that it never even occurred to you existed.
That's amazing.
It's I mean, I think a lot of people, they get this really big feel of failure, what other people are going to think, and you know, they stay in some really shitty relationships that I want to skip forward to one of our getting to know you questions.
Yeah,
Do you mind?
actually.
Because this is actually kind of touches on what you said, but what is your advice for someone staying in a toxic relationship because they're more scared of divorce than moving out of an unhealthy situation?
Yeah, the divorce will be devastating, but I really believe this. There's nothing more devastating than being sad and lonely in your marriage. I do go through bouts of loneliness. So again, divorced 5 years, still have these bouts of loneliness throughout those 5 years. In fact, and it tends to happen around the holidays, and I've actually been feeling it now. But I'm fine. You learn to just sort of deal with it and accept it. But I can tell you this much: the loneliness that I feel every now and then today does not even compare to the loneliness I felt in those last 2 years of my marriage when I knew that motherfucker didn't love me anymore. That was heartbreak. That was sadness. That was loneliness. Those were my darkest years. And you can deal with, like, the loneliness that you will feel after divorce is so much lighter and benign compared to the loneliness you feel in a toxic marriage.
You know what's interesting is one of our listeners asked, how do you handle the sudden loneliness when you're divorced? Like that sudden, I don't have that person to talk to anymore or anything.
It really helps if you have other people that you can go to. So when I went through my divorce, and I did have those sudden bouts, I've always had this group of girlfriends, of best friends. And so I would just basically text them. I would maybe just text one, or I would text all four of them at the same time, and there'd be, a group text. And that really helped a lot with those moments. Second, get a therapist. That totally saved so much for me. I had one therapist when I got divorced. I have a different therapist now. The only reason I changed is because my health insurance changed.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, then that'll happen. But having a therapist and having a standing appointment with that therapist, whether it's once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever works for you, having that person to talk to will really help you. Because what you'll do is, it's almost like you need to reprogram your brain. So it's almost like, we talk about cults nowadays a lot, right? We've seen a lot of cultish behavior.
Yes.
And like the only way people can be saved from a cult is to be reprogrammed. And that really applies to all of us dealing with any sort of like mental health issues, whether it's anxiety or depression, grief, whatever. And those are feelings you will experience when you get divorced. So you need to start reprogramming. Instead of waking up feeling sad and blue, you have to reprogram your brain to wake up and you feel happy and hopeful. So that takes actual work to get there, and the person who's going to help you get there is a therapist.
That is amazing.
Oh, you kicked this off so hard. Bree and I our eyes started welling up. We're looking at each other like, oh my God, this is too real. So let's backtrack a little bit. And we're going to flow through some fun getting to know you and, like I said, listener, sex, relationship stuff. So we're just going to hit you with some randos. Are you ready?
Okay, I'll try.
What is one thing that you are doing when you feel your most confident self?
Masturbating.
Yeah. Okay, so I found out that if you want to manifest right after you come, say your manifestations. It's called sex magic, and it's like a real thing.
Hashtag sex magic.
I believe it.
Yes.
That makes total sense when you say it. I mean, it's like, I'm sitting here going, how did I already not know this? That's perfect advice.
Hold on, what is the last thing you shouted masturbating, Bree?
That we were gonna get 1 million downloads.
With this episode, it's happening.
I was like, 1 million downloads. Keeping it casual is like, I mean, I've been like, sometimes I'll like come and be like, we're going on tour.
Oh, that's so cool.
We're taking you with us
Yes.
when we come.
Yes, you are totally a part of the Alternative Babe tour
That's
now.
right.
Oh,
Bringing it back
nice.
before 2020 wiped it out. All right, I got a question. I got a question for you. One of my favorite things to do is follow you on Twitter because you'll make me want to spark up a joint because you say things like, "Is it wrong that I ate?" I don't know, the random stuff you say because I smoked all of this. So here's my question for you: does weed expire?
Ooh, so I don't know that it expires, but remember we live in the desert, so it kind of can get kind of dried out and just sort of lose its potency. It loses its magic, you know, or at least
Yeah.
it seems that way. Now I'm not an expert, okay? You really should talk to like a horticulturist, you know, like my stepdad. He seems to know a lot more about weed than I do, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yes.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I did find something in the backyard, and I was like, well.
I mean, I think the older it gets, the more like it loses its potency.
Yes.
You know, and it's just not as rich, and you just sort of lose its essence.
Yes.
But I feel like if you find it, you really need it, and it'll probably work. So go for it, guys.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think it'll make you sick. It's not like you're eating like
No.
mayonnaise that went bad or
Oh,
something. You know?
God.
Yeah,
You're just gonna get a little less stoned than you intended.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So on my episode, we were talking about building your online dating profile, and you talked about how you said big dicks only apply. What does your dating profile say now after my episode?
Well, there's a pandemic, so I have not been dating. I've took down all of my dating profiles.
Yeah. Good for
because
you.
I help take care of my parents. I look after my
Yeah.
parents.
Okay.
And again, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm always telling stories about my mother and whatever.
Bringing you
So-
breakfast tacos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she just brought me breakfast tacos 2 days in a row, right?
So jealous.
So yeah, and my stepdad was like fixing my front door. 'Cause I
They're
just bought a
taking care
house.
of you, Laura.
I take care of my parents. Oh, yeah, you know they totally are taking care of me. But I spend time with them. They're elderly. I am not exposing them. So I cut my sex life off back in March. And I went ahead and got off the dating apps because I knew that I would, again, have my bouts of loneliness and horniness. And just talking to a guy I felt like was going to be way too tempting.
Yeah.
So I actually took down my dating profile, but I have been working on having one ready for when I'm ready. So can I read it to you?
Yes.
So it starts off at the top, all caps. Only Biden-Harris voters should swipe right.
Yes.
Right? We all approve of that?
I
Okay.
definitely approve of that.
Okay, because it used to say MAGA swipe left, but I was like, that sounds negative. Let's go for the positive. You voted for Biden-Harris, swipe right. Okay. So then it says about me, Latina, sassy, child-free, independent, strong, blunt. I work full-time from home in marketing. I'm learning to play the guitar. I have a women's lifestyle blog and a podcast about dating. I'm not a damsel in distress.
Ooh.
Yes, girl. All of it.
I love it, and I love how independent you are, but I'm going to tell you this. Having I'm not a damsel in distress in your profile will get way less swipes.
Yeah, but then will that also weed out the guys?
It will
that I
weed
don't-
out the weak ones. We're weeding out the weak in 2021.
Right?
and the first one that comes to you and is like, what have you learned to play on guitar? That's a
Yes.
good one right there. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Because
yeah.
he's getting into the details. He's like, oh,
Yes.
she plays guitar. And I'm curious, what have you learned?
Yeah. It starts off a conversation, right?
Yes.
And then I end it with, I took out the big dicks thing. So that's out.
Okay.
I am open to both casual encounters or a loving relationship. It depends on how much I like you.
Aww.
I love it.
Okay,
I'm
and then
into
you're
it.
going to implement my 3-day FaceTime and or phone
Yes.
call and yes.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God, that was like the best advice ever. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm not letting these guys sort of like play it out. I think what did I tell you? Like 2 weeks. I was
Yeah.
giving them like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, that's just too much time.
That
It
sounds
was.
standard. Like me not knowing, like I think that would sound standard, but Bree was like, like, nah, get right to it. Too many catfish out there.
Yeah, and she's right. I mean, there really are a lot of catfish. There's a lot of married guys. And there's a lot of or guys in relationships. And the reason they let it drag out is what Bree was telling me, is that they do that because they're in a relationship. Like, that's the red flag. The reason he's not always so communicative or responsive to your messages, or, you know, the reason he keeps prolonging your first date is because he's in a fucking relationship.
Yeah. He should be excited to meet you. Like, babe, when am I going to get to...
We have a friend who has only
face-to-face.
met the guy she's talking to at work. Like, she will bring him...
visits him at work, and I'm like, what are you doing? And 2 months ago, we told her, if he doesn't have any time outside of work to see you, then he's in a relationship.
He's married or in a relationship, and he's living with that person, is exactly what I said.
We updated it the other day, still only visiting him at work.
Bringing him food and everything.
Stop bringing him snacks at work.
Don't bring him snacks. They should bring you snacks.
Good Lord. Next one is a listener question. Is there such a thing as too soon to start sleeping with someone after divorce?
No, there is not. It really just depends on what works for you. So my advice there is, if you're ready for it within 10 days, do it. But at the same time, don't force yourself to do something. If it's been 10 months and you still don't feel ready, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my normal is not going to be your normal, and my healthy isn't going to be your healthy. So you need to do what works for you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it being like immediately. I mean, usually the relationship is over before the divorce anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
so just
true.
when you're feeling it, don't feel guilty. Get in on there.
So honestly, even would you say, like, I'm not married, but say I am, and I'm like, well, we're separated, not even legally, and I was like, I'm gonna go fuck this big dick I found. That's okay.
Well, I mean, if your
Gray area.
husband has also agreed that you guys are going to see each other, I don't see why not.
Okay.
But I think if that's not being communicated, and that's the whole problem, that's why marriages fall apart. If you're not communicating what you're really up to and what you're thinking and what you're doing and what you're wanting to do, I mean, everything just sort of becomes like you're being secretive, you're being, you're betraying, you don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to be the reason why it fell apart. Sometimes the marriage just falls apart just because it just doesn't work out, but you never want to be the person to be blamed for it,
Yeah.
You don't want to do that in any relationship, marriage or not. Like,
That is a really gray area when it's like the separation. Like, when you're like, okay, we're separated. What does that mean? Is it okay to sleep with other people? As long as that's been communicated, like separation is a trial.
All right. So next question. Does the end of a marriage have to turn into a huge battle?
It really shouldn't. The healthiest way to divorce is as peaceful and as respectfully as possible. I mean, two people loved each other at once. There's no reason why it shouldn't end in an amicable kind of way.
Yeah.
Mine did. Mine was amicable.
Good.
However,
Nice to hear.
There is a part of me, like I said earlier, like I wish I had done it sooner. I also wish I had hired a lawyer and taken him to court and gotten alimony, which I could have gotten, and gotten like future inheritance. I mean, because we were married 1,000 years. I'm pretty sure 1,000 years is the mark where you get.
It's like forever. That's like when I talk about my radio career. I'm like, 80 years I was on the radio. It gets longer every time because it was such a lifetime. It was a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
It's the second act now.
Yeah. No, but it's true. That's true.
Good advice.
Well, that's you tried to make it as amicable as possible. So you were like, I don't need a lawyer. I don't need this. Let's just like keep it clean.
But even if you want to keep it clean, you suggest
getting a lawyer.
Yeah, except I really believe that if you get a lawyer, it probably will end up being a battle. So you really have to pick and choose your fights. Like, what is it worth for? I mean, you also have to understand, I'm divorced, but I'm also child-free. Bring children into the mix, and it's a whole new ballgame.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a completely different dynamic. So, my advice, do what's best for you. It shouldn't have to end in a battle, but it may have to if you're going to go to court.
Yeah, I think if you're feeling any unfairness or you're unsure about things, it doesn't hurt to get a consultation, maybe get some advice of what I should do and how I should proceed.
And I think there are lawyers out there who will do like consultations for free for you to just be like, I don't know anything, like help me.
Yeah.
All right. So we got another listener
question, okay. And we've gotten a couple of these going through time that we just kind of saved because we're like, we can't speak on this yet.
Yeah, we didn't know.
I'm so angry with my soon-to-be ex-husband, and my therapist told me I have to take responsibility for my portion of our divorce. How do I do that?
Oh, that's a hard one. So really, you have to, I would start at the very beginning, which is to establish an honest relationship with yourself. So before you even get to that point where you're going to analyze everything you did wrong, because think about it, if I tell you what you did wrong, you feel attacked. So you yourself don't want to turn inward and attack yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I would say begin with establishing a good relationship with yourself, an honest relationship with yourself, and maybe start with like more positive things. Like someone who can't see her blame in the relationship failing is probably someone who doesn't take credit for all the good things she does in life. So if I were her, I would first start with, hey, here are the ways I was a good wife. And if she's a mother, hey, here are the ways I'm a good mother.
Yeah.
And once she starts to feel good about herself and she compliments herself and she sees all the good in herself, then she'll have the courage to see where she went wrong in the relationship.
Yeah. And I think like your therapist very rarely is like, well, where did you go wrong? So like to me, it's like when I read that question, I was like, oh, something had to have had to happen for your therapist to even say that.
She's like, bitch, you drive me crazy every week. Okay, maybe it's time to look at a little bit of your behavior. But no, even like if I'm fighting with my husband, even if I'm like, he's so wrong and I'm so right, I'm always trying to look at a little bit of like, all right, maybe I give him a little attitude to set him off. Or there's always something we all can just be a little better at. We can all do some personal growth.
It really takes two to tango.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's like been having this like a long affair,
Psychopath.
and you've been a great wife.
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously
exceptions.
There's exceptions to every rule, but like usually when men have affairs, it's because the intimacy in their relationship ends, and it's like, well, you kind of, you know,
Who knows?
Yeah.
who knows, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's stuff like that. So there's always like two sides to every story.
Exactly.
So I have a question for you because you constantly are so outspoken about how much you hate Facebook. Have you tried Facebook dating?
Yes, I tried it immediately because, you know, of my podcast and you know, writing this book and, you know, I'm trying to put myself out there as like, oh, I'm the smart single woman who knows shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I better try Facebook dating because someone's going to call me on that. Oh my God, what a piece of shit.
I haven't tried it.
Why?
I'm
Why is
curious.
it worse and different?
Okay, so also understand my background is, well, right now my current job is in technology, right?
Yes.
So I always come at things from this very much like the UX and all of that shit, right? The coding sucks, man, Like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but still. So Facebook dating, like just the interface, the user experience is bad and it is sucky. But the guys that were on there, it was like the bottom of the fucking barrel.
Was it like dating on Craigslist?
Yes, that was a great example.
Wow,
Like, that was a great comparison.
You would think that would be a little better because you're like,
No.
oh, mutual friends of friends, and it's just like, no, it's everybody.
It's basically people. I mean, there's a reason why you're not already friends with them on Facebook. Let's put it that way. You know, like if they were such great people, you'd be friends with them on Facebook. But you're not friends with them on Facebook, and it's like, oh, this is why we've never met because you're the kind of person that I would never want to meet in person.
Are they like such a disconnect? Like they don't have any mutual friends, or is it like, oh, you have one mutual friend?
Yeah, there are mutual friends, but that's the thing. It's like sometimes your friend of a friend isn't necessarily someone you'd ever want to be friends with, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, these are the guys that you wouldn't want your friends to set you up with.
Yeah, so it's like the guy that like that's at the party who's like drunk and like filling up on all the ladies inappropriately. It's like Uncle Charlie.
My husband is like sensational, right? He's like that guy that has everything. He's got all the moves for me at least. But
No,
if
her husband's
I
amazing.
judged him based on one of his dear friends he's known for 20 years, I'd be like, why? Are you like him? If you're anything like him, fucking forget it.
At my birthday, Uncle we joke about Uncle Charlie, so I don't mind bringing him up.
Yes.
At my birthday,
He's not related. He's just
No.
old enough to be an uncle. So we make fun of him.
At my birthday party, he was hitting on our friend who's like 24 years
Yeah.
old, and she's just this hot babe and is newly single.
God.
And then he came
like,
up to
get
me and he was like,
occluded.
Bree, why you want to be with somebody else and not me? And I was like, because you're 50 and you're a disaster.
He's a disaster, number one. That's it.
So it'd be like the Uncle Charlies of the world that are your mutual. That's Facebook dating. Oh God.
He doesn't know how to listen to podcasts. So that's okay. All right. We've destroyed him. Okay. Another episode question. So this was a funny situation where Bree and I got caught in where like, have you ever stopped dead in your tracks before having sex?
Ooh, no.
Oh.
No.
So how it came up is MJ had a guy who like just rolled over and was like, "Take me now."
Yeah, he just kind of like flopped in bed and expected me to just like take him, and I was like, "Whoa, you're not even gonna wrestle me to the bed? You're just like laying down. Like, actually, you think you're Marilyn Monroe?" Like, and he almost threw the hand over the forehead, like, "Just go ahead and worship me." And he was totally dad bodding it. It's not like there was something I needed to just
poor
trample.
thing.
It was not hot.
And mine was a guy.
He wasn't a dad.
A guy told me he had like a guy told me he had an underwear fetish, and I was like, all right, cool. So I like scantered over in my sexiest bra and panties, and he came out in a man thong, and I was like, whoa. That. So he has been dubbed man thong on the podcast, and we tell people don't be a man thong.
Oh. So there's never been a situation when you were like, I gotta get the fuck out of here before things go down.
No, I mean, I have hooked up with random men that I just met. You know,
Same.
I've done the whole, totally done that. But I mean, I'm pretty fucking picky. I don't think I would bring home someone who could stop me in my tracks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like really particular.
I
I'm
had
just,
high hopes for man thong.
There's some things there's some things you can't anticipate, Laura. Like another one I had who was incredible at going down, and when it came time for party, I was like, "Where is your dick?"
Oh, okay. So I have had those moments. Does that count?
I was like, "Where is it?" It was not there. So I just faked like I had drank too much and I was gonna throw up. I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
You're like,
There
I
was
gotta
no
get out
way.
of here.
There was no. I couldn't even work with it. I was like, "What is this? This is."
You know,
I mean,
it's
if they're
bad.
good at going down, if they're gonna satisfy me, even if it's in that way and only in that way, I'd give them another shot. Like, I'm not one to kick someone out of my bed because they have a small dick. At least they went down on me and they were really good at it.
Yeah.
But now I understand the red flag for that, because of course the red flag is the guy took his shirt off, went down on you, he kept his jeans on.
Well,
That's always what they do, is they keep their fucking jeans on to hide their dick until it comes
or
to
just
showtime.
or just their underwear.
It wasn't a hot tub,
Yeah.
so I wasn't really noticing until we got to the bedroom. Then I was like, "Oh, that's really, really. Is that for real?"
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what?
And he was the coolest dude ever, too.
I'm
Such a
like the
speaker.
total opposite. Well, I've never encountered something so small that I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I've encountered some small dicks in my life, but I'm the type of girl, I like take one for the team and I pretend that I'm choking on their little ass dick.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
No! I'm a sweetheart.
That's a charitable act. Next time somebody asks you, like, what kind of charity have you done lately, you tell them that story.
I pretended to choke on a small dick.
Yes. That is, I mean, that's so much nicer than giving 10% to a fucking church.
You know what? You're like, you know what? You can get in the back door. Go for it.
That's like, this is a first night anal type of situation.
You know what? I got plans for you. Swing around back. Okay?
What's up, keepers?
So who's up for a sexy date night in? Because Like a Kitten just launched a special couples box that has everything you need to play naughty or nice.
This is a limited time box, and we got you 25% off now through Black Friday weekend with code KEEPERS25 at checkout.
This box is all about foreplay and holds fun products to entice yours and your partner's sensual side.
I am loving this beautiful teaser necklace, which you can use as a flogger or to tickle your partner during playtime.
Yes, Chris and I absolutely love the naughty or nice game. It's like the prelude to foreplay.
So do you guys play naughty or nice?
Always play naughty.
You can get a peek into this box on our Instagram or on our YouTube channel. We had a blast filming, and it looks like our kickoff video for our OnlyFans.
Let's just say there were some bindings and some ties and blindfolds.
Massage.
Very sexy. So this has been one of the most fun nights Chris and I have had in a while. There was like so many fun new things to mix it up in the box. So grab this limited edition box before they sell out now through Black Friday weekend with 25% off.
And use our code KEEPERS25 at likeakitten.com. Now, back to the show.
So we want to talk a little about sex toys. You want to do the next one?
What sex toys do you love to use on a partner? Not have a partner use on you, but what do you love to use on a guy?
Yeah.
I don't really like using sex toys on a guy. Now I have, and I have stories for you.
Okay.
Yes.
But there's nothing in particular. Like, I never look at a guy and be like, I want to fuck him in the ass, you know, or play with his asshole, you know.
I do.
But and I think that's totally cool. That hasn't been my thing. However, I'm open to it when a man requests it. So right after I got divorced, I had a year-long hookup situation with this young boy who was about 27.
Yes, girl.
And
Well done.
And he loved for me to put on a strap-on and fuck him in the ass.
I love this.
Now, I did it because, to me that was age-appropriate domination. Like I said, these 22-year-old boys who think that they can dominate, I'm like, dude, go back to your mother. But this 27-year-old understood that if we were going to be playing those kinds of games, I would be the dom naturally because, like old enough to be his mother, right? So
I'm getting wet thinking about all this.
Nipples hard.
I mean, he loved it. I loved the domination aspect of it. I loved, kind of being over him because he would be like on his back with his legs in the air. So I was like standing at the edge of the bed. I'm in a dominant position over him. And he was such a pretty boy too. Pretty little French boy with a big dick.
Wow.
Please tell me you wore some thigh highs and some high-ass
crazy
heels.
visuals right now.
My lingerie with my tits hanging out. Yes. So he enjoyed it. I enjoyed giving him pleasure. I enjoyed the domination aspect of it. But it wasn't the kind of thing where I was like, hey, I want to buy a strap-on and
fuck every guy in the ass.
Nickname myself Peggy, Like,
Peggy OnlyFans coming soon.
Yeah, and it was a fun like experience to do that. How was it for you? Was that nuts? So that was your first time using one?
Yes, that was my first time using a strap-on. Or that's my first time, penetrating a man because we started off, of course, with my tongue. Then we moved up to the finger. Then we moved up to a prostate massager. And then we moved up to a small strap-on. And then he wanted a strap-on as big as his own dick.
Oh. Okay, wait. Let's back up for a second. So
Lots
a prostate
of lube.
massager. I feel like this is where we're coming with this question. Like, what's a good intro toy for a boy, a woman to use on a boy? So tell us about this prostate massager.
So a prostate massager is much like a G-spot toy, except it's a lot shorter.
Like a little. Okay.
So it'll have like a little angle to it to hit his prostate gland, which you can also call the P-spot.
Yep.
And so you can massage his P-spot, and if it vibrates, that would be nice, just a nice, and you want to have different levels, like, the low level to start with, like the small, and then you get to the bigger one and see what you can handle.
Jackhammer sound.
But I have, so 2 tips. One is that you should really use lube.
Lots of lube.
Yeah, you want to lube that fucker up. I don't recommend using silicone lube with silicone toys.
Nope.
There's some people who say that you can do that. I do think that if you use silicone lube with a silicone toy, it will break down the toy. So I don't recommend I recommend using a water-based lube with a silicone toy.
Ladies taking notes. Okay.
Yes.
However, it can get slippery. And there were a couple times that I almost lost the toy right up his ass. Yeah.
Oh my God, you are reminding me of a story. One time a guy was using anal beads on me, and I don't know what happened, but my asshole was so tight and they just flew across the room. I was like, I think I just wasn't comfortable enough, so he had like one in, and I was like kind of clenching, and they went.
Nice. You were like, I meant to do that, fucker.
I forgot about that till right now. I think I
like that.
I blocked it. I blocked it. I think I blocked that entire guy I fucked him, period.
That's so funny because I think it's like when you get to like the kinky shit with guys, especially Chris and I have our tequila nights, we break out a lot of fun stuff. The anal beads are always a good time. Yeah. But a lot of women aren't sure how to take that next step with toys with their man. So to do something like a prostate massager is a very great tip. And I love the water-based lube suggestion. And maybe get a little handle on the end of it too.
Some of them will have like a little hook, like a little loop where you can loop your finger. This particular one I was using on him did not. So I was like holding on to that sucker for dear life because I just knew it was going to slip up into his ass. Yeah, it gets really slippery. So you got to be really careful with that.
Yeah.
But to introduce toys in the bedroom, I especially if you're a woman who wants to use it on your man, and you know how men can be kind of like shy about that stuff. I recommend bringing a toy into your own bedroom to use on yourself.
Yes.
Like maybe putting on a show for him to show him how you like to use a toy on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next session is him using the toy the way you taught him to use a toy. And then the next session could be, hey, how about we use one on you?
Yes.
Yeah. And,
So, yeah.
And then even like if you get like a Wii Vibe or something, you can,
that's a great idea.
That's a couple's toy. Or I'm going back to my passion parties training. I'm a big fan of the Lilo Tortu cock ring, C ring, constriction ring. Oh.
I have one still in plastic. I just haven't found the right guy I want to use it with.
When you like it, you will put the ring on it, girl.
Yes. I haven't liked a guy long enough
To
or
break
much.
that boy
yeah.
You will find the right cock for that ring. I promise you. And once you use it, you're gonna be like, oh.
Is it like a vibrating one?
It is, and it's made of the most, because Lalo has like the most soft silicone ever.
Okay.
And it's like, and what it is like when I used to demo it, I would put it on the tip of my, like bring it all the way down and then show you how much it vibrated through the tip of my fingers. It literally makes their cock
As you slid it over your fingers.
Yeah,
It's
it
just-
literally makes
yeah.
their cock into your own little vibrating sex toy. It's amazing.
I love it.
But also, what a good thing that I like to do is I like to take my vibrator and like run it up and down the shaft and
Yes.
play a little bit with the balls
that's a
with
great
it.
idea.
Yes, and put it
Yes.
like right at the taint.
Yeah.
and just let them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've learned too. Is you just kind of want to tell them to breathe and just be like, let me know if that's just be like, I'm gonna just take a deep breath. And as if they want to breathe into it, then they want a little more. If they're just like, no, just read
Yeah.
their stuff. But that is a very sensitive subject, sensitive area, it's sensitive topic of all, but very intriguing. And there should be more information out there about.
But that's why MJ and I are so big on like if your guy wants a little anal play, do a massage, and then put a bead in,
Oh yeah,
and then massage a little bit more.
Massage that butt. Just slap your hands on those cheeks while he's laying on his stomach and just start working those thumbs and getting the spread, getting that cheek going.
Oh gosh.
Wow, our
Okay.
episode 69 divulged a lot of information. Probably a little sloppier than we hoped, but
We were pretty drunk when we did this.
Yeah,
we were
we were-
like, we were supposed to have a porn star on, and then she ghosted us.
yeah.
And then we got super drunk, and we were like, all right, we're doing this ourselves.
And it was a Facebook Live on a Friday afternoon while people were working. It was just so inappropriate.
It was so inappropriate. That's okay. We had a good time. Okay, Laura, what is a takeaway you hope that people will get from this episode?
I hope that they'll get that there is life after divorce and that there's actually a big, beautiful, wonderful life after divorce.
With 27-year-olds who want you to dominate them.
I mean, the sex especially was like a whole new world,
Yeah.
like I felt like a Disney princess, so there is life after divorce. You can function, you can flourish, you can grow, and you can heal.
That's amazing. Was the had the sex died in your marriage before the divorce?
God, yeah. That last 2 years was a loveless, sexless marriage. It's very possible he was having an affair. I never caught him having an affair. But the sign, of not having sex. And you were just talking about your friend who is like you're pretty sure the guy she's seeing is married,
Yeah.
and she's only seen him at work. Well, it never dawned on me that my ex might be having an affair. My mother was the one who brought it up, and I was like, "But mother, he's home like every night." And she goes, "You do realize you can have an affair while you're at work, right?"
Yep.
And I was like, "Derp, no."
Yeah. Lunch
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah. So it was
craziness.
really. So I have a really sad story about sex with him. If you guys want to hear it.
Yes.
Okay, so
Please share.
this is like a red flag of the marriage being over. We used to do date nights. We kind of stopped doing that, and we weren't having sex anymore. And so I arranged for like a really hot, heavy session in the hot tub. And it was getting like hot and heavy. I was really flirting, and I have like these big great tits, and so they were like all like kind of floating around everywhere, and I'm looking all hot and sexy. And he excused himself, and so he was taking a while, so I went to the house to see what was going on. I hear him in the bathroom, he's in the shower, he's masturbating.
What the fuck?
Oh no.
He would rather have masturbated than have sex with me. That's how heartbreaking and rejected everything, how fucked up it all was. I was so rejected, and that was like a huge big sign. I think it was only a couple months after that I left.
Wow. You know what? You are so strong for leaving after that, because I feel like I know at my point I would probably be like, well, if I work out and I get hotter and I do this, like I know the way my brain is wired. It's like, okay, the problem's me, not him. Gosh, girl, thank you for inspiring us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people out there are, especially right now, it's just one of the strugglest times, because whether you're home with your children constantly like I am, I love them, but some days I do want to run away from home. And my husband, but like a lot of people are just being confined so hard right now, and they're
Yes.
really getting to see people for who they are and what they are in ways they aren't used to, and it's pushing people to realize, do I want this in my life? Is this kind of life and people I want to be with?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just tell people, if you are in an unhealthy, toxic relationship and you're scared of divorce, I mean, yeah, we're all going to be lonely, but what's worse than being lonely and having somebody right next to you?
Yes.
You know, or having
That's the
somebody
worst.
doubt you all the time or doubting yourself. So you're just full of light and positivity and just
Yes.
and you're just such a sex kitten with your wild and just outspoken personality. And I think that just shows that no matter what age or how long you've been married or whatever, when you find it's time to move on, there's always going to be something new right around the corner, no matter what.
Yeah. And what's around the corner actually is a happiness. And it's yourself. It's finding yourself. You will find yourself around that corner. And that's the best part of it.
Like what we said at the top of the show is like you are the sexiest when you are living your most authentic truth, and when you're in this loveless marriage and you're putting this act on every day, you are not living your most authentic truth.
Very good point. That is a
Yeah.
very good point. And I was being untrue to myself. The longer you stay in that marriage, the more you're betraying yourself.
And you're holding yourself back from the life you could be living. And like you don't have, this is the one thing I tell myself, my friends, everybody, is you don't have to be in a relationship to be happy.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. That's very true.
I feel like Cher says it all the time. She's like, I've had marriages, I've been single. And she's like, I find myself most happy when I don't have a stupid man in my life. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, Cher?
Yeah. even recently, I've seen a couple of girls I know, single moms, find love, and two to be exact, in the last 3 weeks, and I was like, wow, look at her and her new man. I'm like, oh my god, like she's got 3 kids, and this one's got 1 kid.
Yeah.
And she's like, I found, and you're just like, look at these people moving on, and they've had these relationships, whether you have kids or whatever. If it's not right and you're not feeling like things are driving, then it's time to really look at that, and it's gonna be okay. But if you are, I think deep down when you're starting to feel that way, it's time to get some information and maybe feel more confident that you can do it.
Yeah.
But before we go, you have an incredible podcast, and we want to, besides Bree's episode, can you tell everybody what episode Bree was on? We're going to link to it in the show notes. We want them to listen to that. Absolutely. But what is another episode that you'd love to point people to? Like, say they just wanted to jump right in and just be like, let me get a taste of this There Are No Nice Guys podcast. What's one you just love to pieces?
Well, first of all, Bree's episode was my premiere episode for season 2.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
loved
was.
it.
So that is the one to listen to. But I guess my favorites still, I actually have 2. It's my season 1. I went over dating horror stories.
Okay.
Yes.
And there was just so many to tell that it took 2 episodes. So there's a part 1 and a part 2.
Nice.
So season 1, dating horror stories, I highly recommend that one. I find it to be the most relatable because every single woman has dozens of dating horror stories.
That's why we do Why Did I Date Him on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
We'll send you one in. Send you one of ours each.
Yes.
Yes.
You've had one of our favorite guests on too,
Lindsay Allen.
Oh, yes. So
Isn't she just a ray of sunshine?
Oh my God, I fell in love with her. We were having these little bonding moments. We were both bringing each other to tears on my podcast. But she's on
great.
season 2. I did a series called Being Sexy, and she's my first part. She's part 1 of Being Sexy, where we talk about using your body to be and feel sexy. She gives tips on how to enter the room on your first date.
I love it.
How to use your body to flirt and to send signals. And she compares the burlesque dance art form, and she talks about how you can bring those elements into your dating life or just into yourself, that confidence, that sassiness and sauciness and sultriness. And she taught me the slow burn, because I'm one of those who's the guy who thought he was Marilyn Monroe and just kind of turned over and was like, take me. Yeah, that's me. That's really me. I'm like,
You can
my
do
clothes
that.
are-
He can.
Yeah, my clothes are off. Let's fuck. That's me. But she taught me the art of the slow burn, that really you want to tease before you start going into all of that. Move slowly, talk slowly, and so that's something I want to start incorporating too after the pandemic when I get back to dating is that sort of slow burn. But yeah, she just has some great advice about using your body to seduce a man.
She's such a babe. She was on our episode Cherry Bomb, and also we did Checking In with the Babes with some of our past guests when the pandemic first kicked off. but she's phenomenal, and she's the OG Pussycat doll. You guys go have a listen to her. If you haven't heard of her on our podcast, and definitely on Laura's podcast as well. But
okay, so and then can you drop your socials for all of our people?
We need to find you where everybody can find you. Number one, I'm going to recommend follow the girl on Twitter because she's queen. Okay, I love it. I love your Twitter.
So my podcast, There Are No Nice Guys, can be found on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And then my own, I'm on social media, on Twitter. I've been kind of pulling away from Facebook, pulling away from Instagram, totally on Twitter. So you can find me at Lolly Shopping, LOLLIE Shopping. And I also have a blog called Lolly Shopping. That's my personal blog as well.
And what do you talk about on your blog?
So it started off as a little fashion blog in Las Vegas years and years ago, before when people were just starting to have blogs. And since the divorce and my life changing, I've now focused on more of a women's lifestyle. So yes, I still cover shopping and fashion, but I also talk about dating and relationships, career, women's health.
Yes.
I go through all kinds of topics now because I feel like I've outgrown just the niche of just fashion, and I kind of want to cover all of women's lifestyle topics.
You should.
I love it.
Well done.
Laura, you are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I loved being on your show. I know it took a while for us to get you onto ours, but we kind of assumed that we would be out and about at this point. Because we wanted to, at the time when I was on yours, we were doing our virtual stuff, and it was just sound-wise, we weren't happy with anything. Honestly,
we weren't ready for it. We were like, things will be fine soon.
Things will be fine soon. We had high hopes for the world, but we figured it all out now. And thank you so much. And we are so blessed and grateful to have you on.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me hard nipples at the beginning of the show.
Thank you. You like literally got us both choked up. We had to like look away. I was like, stop looking at me, Mom.
Seriously,
my eyes. Her eyes are watering. My eyes are watering. Like you kicked it off with such a heartwarming things to say, and then all the sex.
And then all the sex. Then you talked to us about fucking a 27-year-old in the ass.
I can't casual episode. Fuck yeah.
Our keepers are going to love it. Thank you so much. And then
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Want to be featured on the show? Email us feedback at keepingitcasualpodcast.com.
Want to win cool stuff? Just rate and review us on Apple Podcasts to get into our monthly giveaways.
Last Wednesday of every month. And for more specialty podcasts and bonus content, join us on patreon.com/keepingitcasualpodcast.
Show you're a keeper on Facebook. You can like the page and join our group.
Tweet at us at KICPod or Instagram at keepingitcasualpodcast.
You can find me anywhere at MJ Radio Diva.
And I'm everywhere at Breemixed, BREEMIXED.
And for your one-stop shop, keepingitcasualpodcast.com. Bye.